Hello everyone and welcome back to LRC, the league. We're here at Suzuka for round 6. The second to last round of the season, after which we will be heading to Bathurst at Mount Panorama, which will be the conclusion of our 6th season. Yeah, 6th season of LRC. It's been an absolute pleasure to be here and stream and commentate the races I have been able to commentate and stream this season so far. Been out for a couple weeks due to summer obligations, but I will be here, I believe, for the rest of the season. So we'll get underway here really quickly in about 2 minutes for qualifying for Division 2. We'll be qualifying for 10 minutes. And then we'll have a 27 lap race. I believe the sprint race this week will be for Division 1. Yep, so Division 1 will have the sprint race this week. It'll be 9 laps, and then again qualifying for 10 minutes, excuse me, and then the Division 1 race will be 37 laps. But the way this will work is we'll run the Division 2 stream, and then once the race is over for Division 2, we will switch streams. We'll pause the stream and then we'll start a new one and get Division 1 underway. So qualifying has now started. Let's jump into the track to see our participants this week. So we got Infamous Rule hopping in. Excuse me, I think my mic cut out just a little bit. So we got Infamous Rule hopping in for McLaren, the McLaren F1 team. So all of the teams of the league this season are emulating 1993 season Formula One. Dinosaur is out on track. He's currently leading the pack on the outlap. Currently driving for the newly formed Williams team after the Sauber team has been abandoned for the rest of the season. Sauber had a lot of issues with attendance and conflicts and whatnot, so they decided to abandon the team and create Williams for the rest of the season. And it's open to anyone who wants to join, especially in the D1 category. Looks like Cecil will overtake Dinosaur heading through 130R. Right on board with Cecil in the opening qualifying lap of the session. Tesla going a little wide there on the apexes of the opposing turns of the S-curves. Up through the Dunlop curve. Now into Degner 1 and 2. Pretty smooth Degner 1. Keeps it on the outside. Degner 2 almost gets in the grass there on the entrance of Degner 2. Degner 2 can be particularly tricky on the entrance if you get a wheel out on the grass, or even the runoff there, the green, the teal material on the side of the track is a little slippery at Suzuka. Here comes Spoon, the closing radius turn here, slightly off camber. Drivers will experience a lot of understeer on the exit of Spoon. go. Cecil opens up with a 147.1, but Riley will jump up into provisional pole position with a 145.989. Happy Hippo currently in the 3rd position, spins out through the exit of turn 1. Trackhead currently sitting in 5th position, racing for Benetton. Killer Pros sitting in 6th place, racing for Minardi. We got Dip Dunkel currently sitting in 7th place, 8th for Motsky. We got Dinosaur dropping down to 9th place. We got the other Dunkel, Kip, in 10th. And then Infamous Rule subbing in again for our Team.com McLaren. Technically, it's just McLaren. Team.com is not the actual team name this season, but I have such a inclination to say Team.com because it's Willie's team. Killer Bros jumps up into 3rd place, setting a 147.22. Ooh, and the commentator's curse, the streaming commentator curse hits pretty hard here. I focused on Happy Hippo, who spun out at the end of turn 1, and then now Killer Pros has been claimed. So talking real quick, so Kip Dunkel jumps into 4th with a 140, I think it was 146.6. Motsky sets a PB as well. And then Infamous Rule jumps up into provisional pole position by nearly a second. Infamous Rule with quite a lot of pace. We'll see if Infamous Rule can translate that into a win for McLaren. So very quickly, I'll go through the standings for our Division 2 group. We have Riley currently sitting in 1st place in the Drivers' Championship, racing for Lotus Ford with 133 points. Sean Backmarker Racing has 110. And Cecil Turtle is currently sitting in 3rd with 82 points. Oh, Infamous Rule there goes really sketchy on the mid-section of Spoon, almost spins out. No idea how he's able to save that with that crazy amount of steering angle. Motsky starting another flying lap. That racing soft tire, pretty degraded, excuse me. Especially that rear right tire and the rear left. So back to our standings, we have Riley, Sean, Backmarker, and then Cecil Turtle in 1st, 2nd, and 3rd place. We have Ollie, who is not racing today, I don't believe, in 4th place. Dinosaur currently sitting in 5th with 60 points, only 4 points behind Ollie. This will be a good chance for Dinosaur to jump up to 4th place in the championship standings. Happy Hippo currently sitting in 7th, Killer Pros in 8th, Nixon in 9th. Nixon also not racing today. We got Trackhead in 10th place, also currently sitting in provisional 10th place for the grid start position. Infamous Rule in 11th, Sneak in 12th, Dip Dunkel in 13th. A-Holmes, who is also not racing today, in 14th. We got Motsky in 15th. And then we got Lamb King in 16th. Riley sets a new personal best. Not as fast enough to retake provisional pole position from Infamous Rule. So in the Division 2 team standings, we have Lotus Ford. I wouldn't say dominating, but they have a quite a significant lead. They have 31 points over Minardi. They're sitting at 186 points. And then Minardi is currently in second place with 155. We have Footwork Mugen Honda in third place with 104. Benetton Ford at fourth place with 92. Williams Renault with 86. McLaren Ford 81, and then Ligier Renault with 75. So Cecil's been having a really good season so far. He's been kind of quietly gaining, or quietly just been setting really good and consistent results all season. And I think I don't know if he's won a race, but I think that's just the way to go, to be just consistently getting in like the top 5 or whatnot, and consistently scoring big points for your team, being safe, consistent. And as I say that, Cecil's got some pace behind his car too. He sets a personal best, enough for second, but as soon as I say that, Riley will retake the second position just on the final qualifying lap. Happy Hippo will be starting in 4th place. That's really amazing. Killer Pros in 5th. We got Dinosaur starting from 6th place. Kip Dunkel in 7th, Sneak 8th, Dip Dunkel 9th, Trackhead currently in 10th, and then Motsky is going to finish his final flying lap to finish the session, but it doesn't look like Motsky is on a flyer at the moment, and there we have it. Take a look at the results one more time. So Infamous Rule takes provisional pole position with a 144.095, nearly a second and a half ahead of second place. Riley, Cecil Turtle, Happy Hippo, and Killer Pros round out the top 5. We got Dinosaur, Kip Dunkel, and Sneak in 6th, 7th, 8th. We have Dip Dunkel 9th, Trackhead in 10th, and then finally Motsky in 11th. It's pretty interesting. We have the one McLaren in 1st, and then the other McLaren currently starting in 11th. We have a Footwork, a Benetton 2 and 4. So pretty good starting grid for Benetton. Cecil Turtle racing for Footwork Mugen starts in 3rd. The other Footwork Mugen car not present today. I think the same is with Killer Pros, the only standing minority in the grid at the moment. And then we got Dinosaur and Sneak, a mid-pack result for the starting grid for Williams Renault. Williams Renault, or is it Ford Renault? Williams, yeah, it's Williams Renault. Williams Renault, and then we got the two Ligier cars, the two brothers, starting from 7th and 9th. And then we also have our only standing Benetton car starting in 10th place, I believe. Yep. And Trackhead will be representing Benetton today. Sole drive for Benetton. All right, if you're in chat right now, just give me some comments. Let me know who you're rooting for. If you're new to LRC, LRC stands for Learners Racing Collective. We're a Discord community mainly centered around just learning and improving together with people. We hold various events across Gran Turismo, iRacing, and we have some affiliated groups that run ACC as well. A lot of what we do is very collaborative style type of events. We run an academy that helps people understand and improve their racecraft. If you're interested in joining, definitely check us out. I pinned our Discord invite link in chat. Thank you, Accession. Feels good to be back and commentating. 32 Nasty, are you in D1 or I think you're in D1, right? I feel like I've been out for so long in terms of streaming. It feels like it's been a decade, so I don't remember who's in what division anymore. To look it up. Ah, okay, nice. Congratulations. I hope you're getting plenty of sleep. I know it's very difficult to get any sort of quality sleep when you have a kid. Yeah. I figured. It's funny because there have been times where I've been on GT7 or been practicing for a course, and for whatever reason I just get real sleepy and I start dozing off. And I've definitely dozed off once before and just crashed into a wall. So I've definitely done that before. All right, we got the 3-minute warning from Dinosaur. So one final overview of the current team standings, the overall team standings of the league. Lotus leads the championship standings for the team, the overall team standings with 350 points. Minardi with 292, Footwork Mugen with 241. So it seems like Lotus and Minardi are kind of solidified their positions in first and second so far. However, Footwork Mugen is currently sitting in third place, and McLaren Ford, it has, let's see, 239 points. So they're only 2 points from third place. So it's a very close race right now between Footwork Mugen and McLaren Ford at the moment. Benetton Ford is currently sitting in 5th place with 182 points. And then we have Ligier Renault with 149 points. And I believe the new Williams Renault team is currently sitting on 106 points. Yeah, McLaren was not doing so hot in the first 2 races. I remember members in chat were saying some negative things about McLaren this season, but it seems like McLaren could really finish the season hard with or finish the season strong in third place. We'll see if Footwork Mugen has anything to say about it, though. Infamous Rule currently sitting in pole position, so that looks promising for McLaren. But the question will be, can Infamous Rule keep the position throughout the entirety of the race? Hustle Turtle has his work cut out for him, since he's the only Footwork Mugen car on the grid today. So Cecil will need a good result to keep Footwork Mugen ahead of McLaren after the D2 race. So the D1 teams, are you referring to the standings? I think it's the standings. The standings for Division 1 right now are Lotus Ford in first place with 164 points. McLaren is only 6 points behind, so McLaren is surging. McLaren could potentially clinch the Division 1 championship potentially after this week. So 6 points is a very, very negligible number when it comes to swings in the team standings. Footwork Mugen and Minardi are tied for third with 137 points. We got Benetton Ford in 5th, Ligier Renault in 6th, and then Williams Renault in 7th. With that said, we're going to join the race very shortly. Dinosaur has initiated the race, so we'll get onto the grid as soon as we can. Lights out and the action starts now. Oh, and Infamous Rule gets a shaky start there. Killer Pros gets a pretty good start. Riley's got the inside into turn 1 and takes the lead. Killer Pros gets a pretty good start, but does not gain position, I don't believe. Dinosaur's on the inside of, I think, Killer Pros, and takes advantage of the position to gain 5th place. So Riley with the lead now. Oh, and Riley goes wide there at the end of the S turns, and Infamous Rule takes back the position. Oh my goodness. Riley with a pretty big fumble there coming into the Dunlop curve. And Cecil Turtle remains in 3rd place, keeping it cool. So Happy Hippo started the race on softs. We got Infamous Rule on hards, Riley on mediums, and Cecil Turtle on mediums as well. Further down the pack, we got Dinosaur in 5th place, not too far behind Happy Hippo, looking to sneak a nose there on the inside of the spoon, potentially. Oh, and Happy Hippo and Cecil Turtle go side by side, coming towards 130R at 170 miles an hour. Oh, they touch wheels. Cecil Turtle gets 2 wheels onto the tarmac on the right-hand side. Cecil Turtle, though, has the inside coming into the chicane. Happy Hippo gets a little bit of a bump from Dinosaur behind, and Cecil Turtle maintains his position in 3rd place. Some really good racing here. So Motsky is currently in 7th place. Killer Pros dropped back quite a bit, is sitting in 8th place now, but Killer Pros is on the hard compound tire, so Killer Pros will be going long in this first stint. Same with Trackhead. Kip Dunkel is on the racing mediums, just ahead of his brother, who's also on the racing mediums. So both of them potentially conserving their tires pretty aggressively. Trackhead goes off of the track in the S curves, loses position to both Kip Dunkel and Dip. We got Killer Pros here on the exit road. I think something happened here. But look. Oh no, he got the 2 tires out onto the dirt. Basically did a William Sargent, or what's his name? Logan Sargent, not William Sargent. Logan Sargent. Happy Hippo slipping, losing control at the middle part of Spoon, having a hard time getting back on track. Happy Hippo drops down to 10th place. Happy Hippo was having a great race up in 4th place until that happened. Dinosaur now in 4th place, catching Cecil Turtle. Locks up a little bit going into the chicane. Gets a bump of encouragement from his teammate, Sneak. So Riley staying quite close to Infamous Rule here. Riley, though, going to have a bit of trouble with the racing mediums since Infamous Rule is on the hards. We'll see if Infamous Rule can conserve those hard tires. Seems like he's doing a pretty good job, so... Oh no, so Cecil Turtle, oh no, he must have lost control and hit a wall or something, because there's damage on that front right, and then there's damage on the front. Ah, heartbreak for Cecil Turtle and Footwork Mugen. This is now looking very good for Team McLaren in Division 2. So Dinosaur is on racing softs, as is Sneak, so the Williams Renault team has an interesting strategy formulated here. Cecil will remain on track and not pit for damage. He will be hemorrhaging time quite a bit going down the straights. Kip Dunkel here is catching Cecil Turtle quite quickly. Happy Hippo and Trackhead are in a current side-by-side battle through the S's. Happy Hippo having a hard time keeping control of the car with the racing sauce. Both of them do, so Trackhead goes off into the gravel there with the racing hards. Trackhead not having a good time this week. No, Sneak. Oh my goodness. Just spins out in turn 1 and just tries to turn around and finds the barrier instead. Meanwhile, the two brothers, starting pretty much from the back of the grid, are now 5th and 6th. So a solid run by these two so far in the feature race. The conditions don't look particularly nice out there. It seems like the track is pretty slippery. A lot of our drivers are having a hard time keeping the car on track. I'm seeing a lot of understeering as well. Dinosaur is now in the pit lane, currently getting a change of tires. He will rejoin in 6th place behind the J team. Oh no, and Motsky is in the barrier. Oh no. Oh my goodness, this is becoming just a race of attrition here. Killer Pros is under attack by Cecil Turtle. They're going side by side through the exit of the Dunlop curve. They touch wheels coming into Degner 1, and Killer Pros keeps it in the inside. Nice clean racing by the two of them. Degner 1 is also an incredibly difficult corner to pass. You go side by side into Degner 1, will pretty much end in your race in tragedy. The stream commentator curse working very hard today. looks like Kip allows Dip through. Some type of team orders going on. Yeah, I believe we lost Trackhead in the race. I think we've also lost someone else as well. Oh no, Killer Bros. The Cecil Turtle will regain that sixth position from Killer Bros. Mosky remains in 7th place after a pit stop. Happy Hippo in 9th place, and Sneak now in 10th. So I think Trackhead is still the only person that we lost in the race. And now Dinosaur is catching up to Kip. I wonder how much team strategy will come at play here. How hard the Ligier team will defend against Renault Williams. Oh, Dinosaur looks to the inside, going into the 130R. They touch wheels. Dinosaur makes the pass, going into 130R, down into the Casio triangle. Dinosaur now has his eyes set on the other Ligier car ahead. Dip has a pretty poor exit coming out of the chicane, and Dinosaur is able to make the pass on both of them within 3 turns. A lot of pretty close battles going on right now on track. Happy Hippo closing in on Killer Pros just ahead in 7th place. I was just about to say Happy Hippo got a really good exit coming out of the hairpin. Oh no. Sometimes when we're about to pass someone, we get a little bit too excited when we're on the throttle. So Riley has taken his pit stop. Infamous Rule now in the lead still on his first set of tires, but looks like Riley has caught, is potentially undercutting Infamous Rule. So there's only a 20-second gap right now. I don't know what the total pit time delta is for Suzuka, but it would be pretty close, I think, once Infamous Rule decides to pit. I believe Riley, though, has taken one set of mediums already. We'll have to switch a compound later in the race. Infamous Rule jumps into the pits. Going to change tires. We'll see what compound they change to. Oh, so it's a pretty quick delta. Seems like Infamous Rule is still a couple seconds ahead of Riley. If Riley didn't have that little spin, like at the hairpin, I think he would have been right on Infamous Rule's tail there. Some absolutely crazy counter steering here by Infamous Rule. He's probably on, looks like he's on a controller. You can get way more aggressive counter steer with a controller than you can with a wheel. Stuff that's physically not possible with a wheel. Turtle right now is struggling on those racing softs. Likely have to make his pit stop next lap. Oh, Kip there getting real squirrely on the exit of Degner too. Dunkel's got a good run on Cecil Turtle going down the back straight, heading towards 130 yards. Cecil remains on the outside. Doesn't look to defend, he gives up the position, knows he can't fight right now, not with his tire situation. A very smart move by Cecil Turtle right now. Cecil racing smartly. Keeping it good, keeping it conservative. Nursing those tires to the exit, making sure he doesn't spin out. Great job by Cecil Turtle. Killer Pose coming through. Will take 6th place from Cecil Turtle. I don't think. I don't know. Killer Pose looks like he's made a pit stop, I think, already. Maybe not. He had to have. But he's already chewed through half of his hard tires. So he'll probably have to make another pit stop in about 5 laps or so. 5 or 6 laps. Cecil comes out behind Sneak. We'll have to make a pass on track. For position. Up. As I say that, he doesn't. Sneak just he hands it to him. Oh, careful there, Sneak. Get some dirty tires. Happy Hippo comes out ahead of Infamous Rule. Infamous Rule will have to find his way around Happy Hippo, as our blue flags are slightly different from Formula One's. Happy Hippo just has to maintain his line. And that's quite tricky through the S's. And, oh no! Infamous Rule goes into the gravel trap, and I think Riley will be able to take the position. Riley's coming up quick. There we go, and Riley takes up first position. Commentators curse striking once again. No mercy. So both of the Ligier cars now with 1 pit stop. Currently sitting in 4th and 5th, so good provisional result here by the Ligier team. Cecil Turtle right now looking to make some ground on both of them, but after that damage, I think that puts him a little bit at a disadvantage there. Infamous Rule now in second place. Will look to catch Riley up, potentially make the pass on track. I'm sure Riley will do everything in his power to keep Infamous Rule behind. How's it going, Virgil? Thanks for joining the stream. How are you doing? Infamous Rule getting very, very close here through this S's, losing quite a bit of downforce as he gets closer to Riley's car. It's always going to be extremely challenging to get that close through the S's at Suzuka. Degner 1 keeps it on track. Degner 2, gets understeer and has to slow the car down. Any car that has quite a bit of downforce, Suzuka makes it extremely difficult to pass at any corner, other than potentially 130R if you manage to get alongside or down at the Casio Triangle. So Infamous Rule will have to look to get a better exit here, coming out of Spoon. Riley will also be coming up to some traffic. We got a little battle here between Motsky and Happy Hippo, fighting for 9th place. And there we go. And we got Riley, Infamous Rule coming out on the outside of Riley. Casio Triangle. Let's see if we can catch that on replay. A little bit of contact there. Let's see if we can start the replay from his point of view. So Riley goes in deep. Okay, so Riley goes in a bit deep. Infamous Rule tries to get a better exit by going under Riley on the exit of the Casio Triangle. It makes a little bit of contact there. I don't think that was anything malicious or anything. I think that was a pretty fair pass. So Infamous Rule jumping up into first. Motsky there going deep into the hairpin, allowing Riley to pass. Dinosaur with a relatively quiet race so far in a kind of no man's land between Riley and Kip Dunkel. This also has gained quite a bit of ground on the Dunkel brothers. Close that gap down to 10 seconds. like infamous rule, jumping into the pits to cover off Riley's undercut. See where he comes out. Quite still a bit ahead with 6 seconds. Riley still has to get past Matsuki. Dinosaur comes into the pits. I think Dinosaur will be, let's see, quite close to Kip Dunkel, I think, on the exit. We'll see where he comes out. But there he is right there. So Dinosaur comes out alongside of Kip Dunkel right there for 3rd place. Kip Dunkel, though, still needed to make a pit stop. Dinosaur looking for that gap going into the Dunlop curve. Kip Dunkel almost left the door open. Gets a good exit coming out of the hairpin. Kip Dunkel chooses to stay on the outside, going into Spoon. Dinosaur chooses the inside, has the overlap, but he goes deep into the corner. Kip does an over-under and retakes the position. But as I say that, he loses momentum on the exit, and then Dinosaur retakes the position, coming out of the exit of Spoon. Watch that back. So here's Dinosaur coming up, and Kip takes the outside. Dinosaur takes the inside there. Kip gives him a big squeeze, and Dinosaur goes deep. But then Dinosaur, because he went deep, he ended up getting a better late apex at the exit of Spoon. So quite funny how that turned out. Oh man, so something happened. Infamous Rule, I think, picked up some damage on the front right wheel and the front spoiler. I think Infamous Rule must have gone off track or something. Infamous Rule dived into the pit to fix the damage, potentially change tires. It's quite the gap now. It's 26 seconds. So Riley has an additional pit stop and some change. Quite the advantage there for Riley now. So Riley needs to keep the pace up though, because Infamous Rule is incredibly quick. There's only 5 laps to go though, so I think Riley, it's going to be interesting to see if Riley decides to take another pit stop or just try to coast as much as possible and conserve those tires to the end of the race. I think he should be able to do that with the 26-second lead. It's a devastating mistake by Infamous Rule there. I'm not sure what happened, if there was a back marker involved or if it was purely his mistake, but fortunately we didn't catch that on replay. Vessel Turtle back into 4th place. Good recovery drive after the initial damage that he took at the opening laps of the race. So Riley does take a pit stop. So Riley jumps into the pit lane, and we'll see now where Riley comes out in relation to Infamous Rule. It's going to be a close one. Riley comes out with a set of soft tires. Infamous Rule just coming down the straight. So Infamous Rule now will have to make up what seems like 9, 8, 7, 6 seconds. Infamous Rule now with about 3.5 laps left in the race is cutting into Riley's lead at every corner. You can see the interval keep dropping. He's got to make up the gap in the remaining 3 laps and to make the overtake. It's going to be a quite tall task. Oh no, he loses, as I say that, he loses control at Spoon. And I think that will be it for Infamous Rule. Infamous Rule's chances of winning the race. Unless if Riley makes a mistake. Riley now just needs to bring it home. Dinosaur still in his island. Clear 28 seconds. Oh no, now it's 21 seconds behind Infamous Rule, but another 28 seconds ahead of Cecil, just completely in no man's land. Same with Cecil Turtle. Riley there demonstrating some very good patience to get around Sneak. Waits for the back straight to do it cleanly. Riley starts his final lap of the excuse me, at the D2 sprint race, feature race. Starting from second place, Riley wasn't able to capture pole position, nor the fastest lap this race. Infamous Rule had a very, very good pace. However, Just one costly mistake caused Infamous Rule to, maybe two actually, that Infamous Rule lost the lead and then was catching up and eventually was unable to battle for the lead in the closing laps of the race. It's a valiant effort by Infamous Rule there. Riley, though, showing that consistency and being conservative, wins the race. So down through 130R for one final time. Behind Kip Dunkel into the Casio triangle. Riley will come out one last time. From second place to first, Riley will win the Suzuka round 6 of the league. Infamous Rule comes through the Casio triangle one last time. Losing the back end there quite a bit. Comes through the last turn, finishes in second place. And Dinosaur with a very quiet race, but will bring home third place for Williams Renault. Had a challenging season, all season. It's nice to see Dinosaur finally grab a podium. A great race by Dinosaur. And Cecil Turtle as well. So Cecil will also bring it home in the top 5 with that mistake that he had in the beginning of the race that cost him quite a few positions, but he was able to recover almost all the positions that he had and bring home the race in fourth place. I think he would have had a shot of getting down to the podium if it weren't for that mistake, but props to Cecil Turtle for a great recovery. Kilopros bringing it home in 5th place. Really nice result for Kilopros and the Minardi team. And finally, Kip will take 6th place for the Ligier team. Happy Hippo finished in 7th, Sneak in 8th, we have Dip in 9th, and then Motsky a lap down in 10th. And there he goes. Kip crossing the line for Ligier at 6th place. So there you have it, the feature race for our Division 2 at Suzuka. We will shut the stream down very briefly and then return with our Division 1 race, so stay tuned for that. Division 1 will have a sprint race, and then a 10-minute qualifier, and then finally our feature race for D1. So please stick with us and hang tight. We'll be back soon.
Bye.